A reading from the book of Revelations. I, John, your brother, who share with you the distress, the kingdom, and the endurance we have in Jesus, found myself on the island called Patmos, because I proclaimed God's word and gave testimony to Jesus. I was caught up in spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a voice as loud as a trumpet, which said, "Write on a scroll what you see." Then I turned to see whose voice it was that spoke to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 gold lampstands, and in the midst of the lampstands, one like a son of man, wearing an ankle-length robe with a gold sash around his chest. When I caught sight of him, I fell down at his feet as though dead. He touched me with his right hand and said, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last, the one who lives. Once I was dead, but now I am alive forever and ever. I hold the keys to death and the netherworld. Write down, therefore, what you have seen and what is happening and what will happen afterwards." The word of the Lord.
Our second reading on this second Sunday of Easter, Divine Mercy Sunday, is taken from the book of Revelation. We are reflecting on how giving testimony to the risen Lord is really an act of mercy. In the first reading, the apostles witnessed to Jesus, first by proclaiming the Word and by performing signs and wonders. Through their healing miracles, through the liberation of the people possessed by evil spirits, the disciples gave a powerful testimony that Jesus is truly risen, that His victory over evil and death is real, and that the risen Lord is present in their midst. Now, imagine how that is an act of mercy. People were consoled. People are strengthened, thanks to the testimony of the disciples. In the second reading, we have another apostle, John, who finds himself on the island of Patmos. What was he doing on that island? He said, "I am here on the island of Patmos because I proclaimed the word and I witnessed to Jesus." Look at that. Bearing all sufferings, all hardships, all inconveniences for one purpose: to give a vibrant testimony to Jesus. And that is an act of service, an act of mercy, especially to those who have not heard about Jesus. Proclaiming the word, giving a witness to Christ. And then on that island, John experienced the grace, the gift of ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy. And he had a vision of the Holy One of God, Jesus triumphant, Jesus in His glory. And it was not just a gratifying, consoling vision about Jesus. It was also terrifying to behold the Holy One of God. John, fell on the ground. But Jesus said, "Have no fear." And part of the revelation was Jesus telling him, "I am the first and I am the last. I have the keys of death and hell in my hands," meaning, have no fear. I am in control. I have won over death and even over hell. I am triumphant. Have no fear. And John was given a mission. Write down this vision as a testimony that you will pass on to other people. John did it, and now we have the book of Revelation. It is an act of mercy. John testifying to us about the power of the risen one. When we are afraid of the evil around us, when we feel like evil is gaining ground, when we feel like there seems to be no point to our dreams and our hopes, then we can turn to John. His act of mercy, testifying to what he had seen and heard. The resurrection is real. Jesus is truly risen. He is control of sin and death. And we are consoled because there is someone who has seen the risen Lord and now bears testimony to him. Let us follow that. Let us also testify to the risen Lord to those who are afraid of sin and death.